Hello and welcome to Jeremy's Yorkshire allotment adventures on what has been today a beautiful day. The sun is just starting to set here on the allotment. A little late today in filming a few of the segments. Some were filmed yesterday, which was fantastic news for me because this morning it absolutely threw it down here on the allotment. That's why I'm late coming down. However, I've started digging over. I've found two potatoes that have survived, I think, a couple of years here, because here is where I used to have my polytunnel, and I've not had potatoes in here for at least 2 or 3 years. Sit back, relax. I hope you've got your feet up. Hope you're enjoying a nice cuppa or whatever you drink wherever you are in the world. And well, from a lovely sunny place here, I'm going to see what's going on in, well, New Mexico. Can you believe it? Northern New Mexico. I'll just tell you that later. Welcome to Jeremy's Yorkshire allotment adventures. Well, I'm taking a rest as we look at this video today, and it's made up of a few days filming. And yesterday was a lovely day here, really dry, not an inch of rain, although towards the end of filming it did start spotting, but it didn't carry on, luckily. And it gave me plenty of chances to do something which I've been wanting to do for weeks. In fact, I'll stop talking, and why don't I hand you over to me yesterday? Fingers crossed this one works. This is the third time I've tried to film it. Problems with microphone. Let's carry on and see what happens. Well, as you can see, I've got my shredder apart because it got clogged. It wasn't shredding properly. Couldn't work it out. Anyway, easy. Take the front off. But first of all, you must unplug it. However, it has a safety catch just here. And once the front's off, it will not work, which is a good thing anyway. But just in case that's faulty, definitely unplug it. Make sure it's definitely off the mains, which it is. I've just glanced behind me. This is a brilliant shredder. Really love it. I got it for next to nothing about 3 years ago. It was in the local marketplace. It cost me £20. And an old couple had had it. They'd had it for years. When I first got it back here, it wasn't shredding properly. Anyway, looked online, saw the manual. Really easy. There's an Allen key that comes with it. You take the blade out of the middle here, and then you just turn it round and put it back in. Stunning. Really stunning. And it works brilliantly. And this is a metal plate. Everything else around it's plastic. Obviously the blade's metal. Here's a photograph of the blade. It's a twin blade. So there's one at the top here, and when it spins around, there's another one at the bottom here, which you can't just about see. Well, you probably just about see here at the bottom. And very sharp, obviously. And well, brilliant thing. As I say, it does get clogged occasionally because I have been using some wet materials, and it tends to clog around here, and definitely clogs here. So you have to turn it off. As I take the front off, that's really simple. This is the front, and it's brilliant stuff. Really heavy duty plastic. But I don't know if you see there, but there's a metal bar there, and that's the safety catch. It goes right into there, and it stops it working. 2 buttons on the back. There's a reset button in case it cuts out for the heat. It's got a heat sensitive cut-off switch, and you can forward and reverse it as well. If you get stuff stuck, you can send it back up. But I've never had to do that. I just take the front off and clean it, which is a brilliant thing. It's got a little dabber, as I say, a dabber. When you're putting your things in, basically, that just slots in there. Obviously short enough not to reach the blades, because otherwise you just disintegrate that part. But you get lots of really good mulch. It's mulch. I can either put it onto my paths, or in fact, you can put it onto the ground here to revive it, to help mulch the ground. Also, you can dig it in as well, because this at the moment is really waterlogged. And so I really want that full of materials. I've got some old leaves or mould over there. That'll go in as well. And it'll really loosen up the materials to stop it getting cloggy. Too much clogginess, it's really going to rot everything here on the allotment. Safety goggles, of course. I've got earmuffs as well, because it really does make a sound when it works. And of course, you need a really decent pair of gloves. I sat up in the morning with my other gloves on, but well, I changed them because we've got, obviously, well, brambles here at the edge. I had to cut them back. Roses, a bit thorny, but these lovely gloves stop me getting hurt. Well, I better get the front on and do a bit more work. Oh, was that a drop of rain? I definitely better get the front on, and maybe get it back in the shed. Brilliant stuff. Oh, by the way, here's a video of me doing some shredding. How exciting. Oh, I love shredding. I don't know why, there's something really satisfying about it. It really helps, and so that means I can now put some of that matter, the organic matter, into my ground, because I've started digging over, and I'm digging over right over near where my raspberries are, where my new fencing is, because that's where it gets the most of the sun. The place I'm digging over in is where I found the potatoes, and actually I found a couple of onions as well. I've just transplanted them and put them on the banking because they were left over. Obviously they can't have matured last year, and so they've been left over, but they're coming, so I've popped them on the bank in the hope we got some lovely onions. Speaking of onions, my onion seeds are coming up in the greenhouse, so fingers crossed they mature into lovely onions, and I'm going to put them alongside my carrots in the raised beds when we get all the compost popped into that. So I'm really looking forward to that, actually. And I'm digging over because that's where last year the path was. I didn't have, because yesterday I went, I suppose, across the allotment, whereas this year I've decided to go up the allotment. And it's about, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, probably 6 meters in length here I've got. So 6 times 4, 24 square meters roughly-ish of growing space. And there are methods. You can take a meter square, actually, a block on here. So I'd have 6 different meter squares. I could split those off into 4 or even 6 and grow different vegetables and stuff in each of one of those. So that's really exciting. Or you can just grow complete in a row like you do normally with your potatoes and your carrots and your turnips, your Swedes, all those things. Cauliflowers we've got coming, but they can be intermingled with other plants. So I'm really looking forward to getting those out and into the ground. I've had to wait, as you know, because it's really, really waterlogged here. I'm glad I've been digging over it because it does show me the composition of the soil. It's a little bit heavy at the moment, so getting that organic matter in. I've got some leaf mould. I've got my compost from my old compost bins from last year. They'll be brought out. Now, when you've got your compost, don't panic about it. If it's still got some woody bits, it's bound to happen. Get them into the soil. It will just help to aerate the soil, and it will really help. And if you're fearful of the organic wood, then really keep it to one side and then pop it back in. Or like I did yesterday, shred some of it. It's really, really useful stuff. Now, getting organic matter in, getting the ground turned over, because I don't do no-dig gardening, which you can. It's really simple. Get a layer of cardboard down, a little like what I've done in my containers, behind me. Compost down, and so you've got your layer of cardboard, a layer of compost, and then you can plant directly into that. Because I presume the compost rots and your roots will go through that into the soil. But I've never done that. Maybe I should look in one of these little meter squares at doing that this year and see what the difference is, apart from having an aching back. But I love digging over. I just love it. I really enjoy that moment of getting down and aching the next morning because you've done too much. Speaking of aching, I'm aching now in my next morning. Now, you probably notice here, I put a bit of straw around my strawberries here. I hope it's not too early. I hope it doesn't get too damp, but it's coming up, as I say, to spring, to the vernal equinox here in the UK. Yes, the vernal equinox, which means on Wednesday at 3 o'clock in the morning, yes, 3 a.m., it officially becomes spring. And it's spring because here in the UK and the northern hemisphere, because the sun is directly above the equator. So it means we here in the UK will now get the full force of the sun during the day, and that's rather lovely. But then in a few weeks' time, we actually put the clocks, as I said, forward by an hour. We spring in forward, go back. Now, why do we do that? Well, I know what. Should we pop across to me from a few years ago, trying to explain why here in the UK, it may be different all over the world. We all have our theories as to why it didn't just happen here first. Actually, Canada, I think, if I've got the dates right, I'm sure I have, in the 1914-ish, maybe 1920s, did it officially. But here in the UK, have a listen to me. We have to go right back to 1916, to the event of the First World War. And it's Germany. Germany were looking to save energy costs. And they worked out that if they put the clock forward an hour, they gained an hour of daylight. And that's basically why we do it. And of course, Europe and the UK followed suit, and we've done it ever since. And well, that's the reason. That's it. Simple as that. There we go. We're always blaming the farmers in this country. We're always saying, why have we got to put the clocks back in winter? Blah, 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 blah. It's not for that. We've just kept it on. Some people do argue that we should keep this forward one and not put back in winter to help those people who really need daylight to get through the winter months. And well, The debate happens every single year. One year it might change. At the moment, it's not looking as though it is, but we've got the summer to look forward to. And I say it's working hard here as I've been digging over, I've got all the organic matter going in, found some onions. Also, I'm really pleased it's happening is I've been panicking about my loafers. They've not been showing any development at all. But I had a little sneak peek today, and they're in their own microclimate in a plastic bag on a heat mat with the lights on. And finally, there's one coming through, and you can just see the seed pod opening and a little shoot coming out at the top. In fact, here's a photograph. I hope I can capture it. It's really lovely. That, to me, is the true definition of nature and spring. And I love the excitement of new life. And the loafers this year are going to come out. That's why I put the fencing up. They're going to come out here and hopefully get the full glare of the sun. Because here, we get the full sun virtually the whole of the day. And that's going to be really good for the loafers. It's exciting. All this lovely stuff happening. And well, once again, thank you very much for watching Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures. Thanks for all your messages. Oh, speaking of messages, I've had a message from northern New Mexico. And I apologise, because here's me in the UK going on about with a bit of rain here and there. And yes, things are a bit waterlogged and cloggy, but nothing like you. At the moment, you've got 6 inches of snow. You've had a bit of sleet as well in the last couple of days. I don't know why I'm laughing, it's awful. And all your little seedlings and you've sown inside. Before I go, actually, there's another message. I just remembered. It's very exciting. One of my viewers is growing, or has, a beautiful golden raspberry bush. I was mentioning mine a few weeks ago, and it's coming. Golden raspberries, beautiful, apparently, according to the viewer. But they've got a normal raspberry bush very close by, and they get cross-pollination. And so sometimes they get a very light pink raspberry. A mixture between the golden raspberries and the normal raspberries. I hope one day you can send us some photographs. I can't wait. And yes, they are very sweet and very juicy, the golden raspberries. I can't wait this year for those to come. Well, I could sit here all night actually, aren't we lucky? And well, I think I'm going to go and get myself a cup of tea and sit here and listen to the last of the bird song today, because it's winding down here on Jeremy's Yorkshire Allotment Adventures. Thanks for watching. Ta-ra for now.